The other day I pointed out in a video about feminist movies, the reason why they fail, in my opinion, and the reason why politics fails, in my opinion, is that when I go to play games, card games, board games, video games, or go see a movie, I'm doing it because I'm trying to get away. But the better way to explain it is, all day, nonstop, I am inundated with politics and news, and here's what you gotta do, and here's what you can't do. And it's like, I get it, man. I get it. Now, for the last couple hours I have before I go to bed, I'd like to play a card game about goblins fighting dragons. And now they're putting politics in it. The point is, I'm not gonna go pay to get more of what I get inundated with every single day. Stop. I just don't care. Well, that brings me to one of my favorite games and a game I've played since I was a young child, Magic the Gathering. Vice writes, queer erasure in Magic the Gathering book infuriated fans and drew an apology. A new chapter in Magic's history of exclusion and erasure. For those that are fans of Magic the Gathering, you'll get a lot of these terms, but I'll try and explain it for those that aren't. But it's not, you don't need to know what this game is. Suffice it to say, there are characters in the world of Magic the Gathering who are not queer. Yet fans wanted them to be. Actually, I think they might be, bi or queer or something. Apparently, fans wanted a same-sex relationship between two female characters, and because it didn't happen, they're calling it queer erasure, and the author actually apologized. Dude, if the fans want to write fan fiction, you can write fan fiction, but how are we in a world where the fans are calling the company, or screaming at the company, and then getting the company to actually be like, okay, we'll write the story that you want instead of writing a story? Now look, let me stop for a second. I fully recognize the point I just made earlier, that the point of a business is to sell a product that people like. But if all that's going to happen is you're going to make a story by vote, well, then you're not writing us a story at all, and there's nothing to even consider. People are going to be like, I know exactly what happens. Chandra and Nissa are together. No, I want, you got twists and turns, man. So apparently, for those that are looking at the screen, we have this Vice article, lo and behold, and this picture of this woman whose head is on fire, that's actually Chandra. She is what's known as a planeswalker, and she is a pyromancer, so she, controls fire. There's another woman whose name is Nissa, and I don't know what you'd call her because I don't pay attention too much to the lore, but she's like, she's green. She likes playing with trees and stuff. And apparently, the fans really wanted a relationship, but a new book came out, and they're not in a relationship, so now they've demanded an apology, and I kid you not, the dude who wrote it, I think it's a dude, actually apologized. Let's check this out. Wizards of the Coast, publisher of the popular collectible card game Magic the Gathering, issued an apology to its fans on Friday. Some fans were upset after the publication of the tie-in novel War of the Spark, Forsaken, appeared to erase the identity of Planeswalker Chandra Nalaar. Quote, over the past week, we have seen and heard strong reactions from fans about how we handled the resolution of the Nissa-Chandra romantic relationship in the recent Forsaken novel, and we apologize. WoTC said in a statement, we didn't live up to the expectations we created for Chandra and what she means to our fans. Dude, hold on a minute. There are millions upon millions of people who play Magic the Gathering. It's a card game. And because, a handful of people complained that two chicks weren't hooking up, you're apologizing? You know what's really funny? I'd imagine, if this was a Gen X era, the people who would be complaining about wanting the chicks to hook up would be like frat bros being like, let's get these chicks. But now it's like a queer erasure thing that they're not having that happen. Dude, not everybody's in a relationship. Some people can have an identity, but not bang someone else. This is the craziest thing to me. Chandra could be gay. I really don't care. Write the story, that's fine by me. I mean, tell me an interesting story. These, whatever. But they're mad that they're not hooking up. I get it, they want a relationship, but still, it's like, dude, whatever, man. It doesn't mean she's not a strong, queer character. It just means she's not hooking up with Nissa. Wait. I'm really happy to be doing cultural content, though. Too much politics lately. They say Magic started as a collectible card game. Yeah, we get it. They say Magic's story, such as it is, has always been loose. But since 2015, Wizards of the Coast has been trying to codify something like a grand narrative centered around planeswalkers, powerful spellcasters who travel Magic's multiverse. Chandra is a planeswalker who wields flame, and in the early novels is portrayed as queer, developing feelings for the elven planeswalker Nissa. Though never explicitly stated in the published novels and short stories, Nissa and Chandra's relationship was heavily implied and teased. They're calling it erasure but they're openly stating she is queer. Okay, we're good. I get it. I'm cool with that. I think Chandra's a great character. But the issue is that she's not in a relationship, so they're calling it. Come on, man. Fans argued about the exact nature of the relationship, with some believing it was obviously a romantic connection and others believing they were just friends. Okay, here's where we're gonna go from here. I don't care about the story at this point. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because where we go as a culture. Listen, they complain that gaming spaces are toxic, that men do and say nasty things. Okay, since I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9, I have played Magic the Gathering. Now, admittedly, when I first started playing, I had no idea how it worked. And it was only a few years later, when I got into Magic that I actually started learning how to play, hanging out at the comic shop. And let me tell you something. No girls there. That's just the way it was. And it wasn't because men were doing gross things. Like, I was 12. Girls just didn't go to the comic shop. Maybe it's because no one encouraged them. I have no idea. But then people started complaining that the spaces were too gross, toxic, masculine. And I'll admit, man, a lot of the dudes who would hang out at these shops and these games, yeah, they're gross. Straight up, man. And everybody knows it. There's a recurring meme about like, dude, go take a shower and buy deodorant, man. And there are a lot of people who just didn't care about how they looked, how they smelled. And I don't know what that's all about. I don't know what attracted those kinds of people to these kinds of spaces. Maybe it was because that's what was available to them because other spaces ostracized them. I don't know. But I was like 13 and I was skateboarding and was punk rockish and played games like this and Pokemon and played video games, Marvel vs. Capcom. And yeah, it was a very dude-centric space. How do you attract girls to these spaces? I don't know, but I'll tell you what. Imagine you have your own space for you and yourself and your friends. And all of a sudden, some people you don't know and don't like are showing up saying, we want to change everything about this. And now you're getting angry that the space that was once yours is no longer yours. Now, there's two things to talk about here. First, I can fully respect someone who says, I had my own hangout and I'm sad that it's been taken away. And you can't really do a public hangout like that if people want to come and you're creating an unwelcome space, like you got to do something about it. You can't imagine that your culture would stay as small as it is and not expand to females and trans people and queer people and other marginalized groups. The reality is Magic the Gathering is an awesome game, and because of that, it has attracted a wider and more expansive audience of people. While the game did start off as overwhelmingly like male players, and probably still is to this day, it has done such a good job of being a fun game. Guess what? Everybody wants to play it, or at least more people do. The challenge, I guess, is people seeing their spaces change and no longer being that fun escape they wanted. That I respect and understand. I don't know how you solve that problem. Maybe make a semi-private club. But the issue is, for me, when people come in and start changing that space, you will see a backlash and you will see anger. But more importantly, there's a large group of people. So this is really hard to talk about, but there's a large group of people, as I mentioned, deal with these kind of politics all day, every day. Why now are we seeing an article complaining about the erasure of someone's identity simply because they weren't in a relationship? This has nothing to do with the game. Why is this a focal point of the story? Why is it becoming the story? And why can't I just enjoy my chocolate ice cream? I had my vegetables. I just want to go get dessert. Politics has been infecting everything. And that's why people are angry, and I totally get it. I don't know what the solution is. I really don't. Don't be surprised, though. You know, actually, you get the point. I made that point. I want to make another point. Capitalism. Yup, you gotta love it. The nature of the business is to expand your audience. And that means even if the game originally was primarily attracting young men to play, you know they're trying to figure out how to get women to play as well. And so they're doing this. Here's the big risk that I see. First, I don't care. I really don't. I'll keep playing Magic. I played it less, mostly because of the interference at shops I've experienced. But I'll play with my friends, you know. I've more so played like Hearthstone, but I don't even play that much anymore. But I play Commander. It's a format of Magic, and I have fun doing it, and I'll keep doing it. I don't care about any of this stupid stuff. Get out of my way. I don't go to shops as much anymore. But here's the thing. Let's say you have 80% of your players are dudes, and those dudes enjoy a certain space. Like it or not, men and women are different. You then try to start attracting women by doing things like this, talking about the queer characters and the relationship and the females, and you do a bunch of the more political, feministy stuff. You're going to start losing your core audience and sacrificing it, trying to attract people who don't play your game already. This is the big challenge that I don't know how you navigate. I will give advice to those that are fans of Magic who, you know, if you watch this video, I don't know. Listen, when I was younger, as a story I often tell, so if you heard it, forgive me. The good skateboarders wore baggy clothes, and the newer, younger skaters wore tight clothes. And eventually, when I got older, the younger kids started wearing Dickies that didn't reach their shoes. They were floods, right? And so the baggy kids made fun of the tight clothes kids, and tight clothes kids started making fun of the Dickies kids. And for me, I was like, dude, everyone needs to chill out, right? Times change. What can you do about it? You're mad that what you liked about skateboarding and you thought was cool isn't cool anymore? I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. So I can fully respect why people get angry. They say it's infuriating fans, but what about the other side of this, right? They say queer erasure in Magic infuriates fans and draws an apology. What about the fans that are tired of this dominating a narrative of a strategy game? What about the people who are like, I really don't care about the story? This is why I've been talking to some friends about making a game that has no real backstory, is more offensive and comedic, and it like doesn't play into any of this stuff, or actually satirizes it. But I don't know. All I can really say is, for those that like the game, expect more of this. Because the fans are going to demand things. The business wants to cater to them. And I'll tell you what, it is not the dudes, in my opinion, who are complaining about the storyline. They're more so complaining about how the storyline is being smashed to fit an agenda from people who don't even like the game in the first place. A lot of people complaining about this stuff aren't big fans. There are a lot of big fans that are complaining about it. I'm not saying that it's not everybody. But often what we see with political injection into games and comics are people who never buy the product in the first place, just demand that culture change. So the next big thing I'll leave you with, and I'll wrap up here, otherwise I'll talk for a million years, is imagine you have your own space. You're cracking a beer with your buddies, you're laughing, making crude jokes, and somebody you don't know, you don't hang out with, shows up, and the cops come in and say, you gotta change all this, you gotta take it down. And you're like, dude, what? Like, you don't even hang out here, man. That's another big problem. If Magic and Wizards of the Coast and other games are not attracting a new player base, and it's still 80% dudes, then why do those dudes have to change the way they behave for people who don't even play the game? I don't know what the solution is. I never do. I have no answers. All I do is complain about stuff. Apparently that's all I'm good for. But I will tell you this. Wizards of the Coast. I don't go to shops anymore. I don't play anymore. I bought a box recently. I didn't even open it. And the reason is this. Seriously. It's not because I'm politically angry about it. It's because I don't have fun being at these spaces. I just don't. I don't have fun hearing about this. I don't have fun. There was one shop that got like stripped of their rank of their access to Wizards products because they had a Keck flag. I'm like, dude, I don't want to get it. What are you doing? I don't want to do that. I want my goblin to fight a vampire. So now what I do, I play with my friends in private. We play Commander. We have drinks. We set up our own table, and maybe that's the way it's going to go. You know, like I said, maybe people are going to go and find their own way to make their own space. We set up a couple TVs, we watch some movies, we order pizza, and we play games, and we're offensive, we make jokes, and we just don't have to worry about politics. Part of getting away and playing games is so that you can be yourself and not have to worry about other people yelling at you all the time. I'll leave it there. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. on this channel.